It is the 29th of November, 2023. This is Plutus PBL live coding from Gimbal Labs and Friends. And we were off air talking about minting transactions and policy IDs. David, you said you went through these docs, you're able to see, okay, well, in the Plutus PBL course, there's one lesson where you mint a learner token for the Plutus PBL course, and that has one policy ID. And then you can come over here to the mesh documentation and you can look through here and you can actually mint tokens directly from this documentation, which is kind of cool. And those tokens will have another policy ID. And so the question is, what if you want your own policy ID? Am I saying that right? Oh, shoot, we lost David though.
Oh, where did you go?
He's back. Hey, man, you got us?
Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah,
Right.
we got you.
Okay, sorry guys. I have really bad connection where I am. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I just dropped
All
off.
good. All good. So I'm assuming that you've played around with minting from the mesh documentation right here. And as you pointed out, when you use this interface, you're always minting a token with the same policy ID,
Yes, correct.
right? And so first, there's two things I want to distinguish here. First of all, this is the mesh documentation, and the mesh documentation is an application. This is a dApp right here. They're basically using mesh under the hood of the docs itself so that you can play around with mesh. But really where you're actually going to use mesh is in your JavaScript based code base. Okay. So the fact that we're getting the same policy ID every time is true because this is a dApp that has a certain minting policy built into it. And where that's coming from is here. This is the Forge script. And this is probably the simplest Forge script you can make. Okay. This will mint a token with a policy ID whose minting rule is it requires one signature, okay, of address. Where's address coming from? It's actually coming from your connected wallet. So actually, if you use this interface to mint tokens, you actually are minting a unique policy ID. It's one that only your connected wallet could mint. That's kind of interesting. Okay. But you don't have any flexibility if you want to create some other rules, perhaps that are more advanced than this one right here. Okay. And this would be the equivalent. Let's look at this in the Plutus PBR course for just a second. When we show you how to mint a token for the first time, that's coming up in module 202. Okay, we show you minting with Cardano CLI. And this right here, this is probably the simplest minting policy we could write. Okay, I guess you could write a fully open minting policy, and that would be even simpler. This one right here says, hey, the rule for minting a token is that the minting transaction has to be signed by the holder of this key. And this is a public key hash. This is fine to share publicly. There's no danger in just making this public, right? But this public key hash is associated with a private key that hopefully only the people who are supposed to have access to it, right? And so this example right here, we could follow through with this example and we could mint via Cardano CLI. That's fine. But this example right here is directly equivalent to what they're showing you right here. Let's forge a script. Let's make a minting policy that just requires one signature. Whose signature? the signature of the connected wallet. Okay. But that's not very flexible. And it's likely that you'll want some custom policy ID based on some custom logic or some repeatable logic. So one thing that people do is when they make a minting policy script, even a simple one, you can make a new set of keys, right? So that in Cardano CLI, the command for this would be Cardano CLI keygen. I would have to look it up, but it's here in the course, right? You want to just generate a new set of keys. And when you generate a new set of keys, often the reason you're generating those keys is because you want to build an address to which funds could be sent, and then you can use those keys to spend those funds. That's fine. Right? That's kind of the basic use. And if that's all we did with Cardano, well, we wouldn't be doing anything new. That's what Bitcoin already does. Generate a key pair, make an address, use that to send and receive UTXOs. But what you're able to do here is you can make a key pair that you never intend to use as an address. And you can just use that key pair only to serve for your minting policy. And if you do that, right, I can make a new key pair. I can calculate the pub key hash using a command like this of my new payment V key. That's the public key. I could take the result of this command, which is going to be a string that looks just like this, and I can drop it into a script. And then the S key file associated with this V key file is going to be a required signer on the minting transaction that this policy requires. And that's going to be its own unique policy ID, right? Anytime I have a different key hash in my minting policy script, the result will be a different unique policy ID. And if I want to be able to dependably mint tokens with the same policy ID over and over again, one best practice is to not use payment keys for that, right? Mesh is breaking that rule right here just because it's simple, right? They're using your payment keys to generate some policy ID. But what you can do is just like I said, make a set of keys that are only for minting, use them only for that purpose. I would never even derive the address for those keys because I don't want any UTXOs stored there. I only want to use those for minting some tokens. How much sense is that making?
Yeah, it makes sense, but does that mean that you're having to use your wallet associated with that address?
Not if now you keep this on the back end. Okay, so here I wouldn't follow this approach in a production app. They're showing this as an example. But what we do is, of course, right, if I take this code into a JavaScript project, I'm importing a couple things from Mesh, right? Transaction, forge script, and a couple of types. Here's the logic. I'm going to create some forging script with some rule. It can be a lot more advanced than this. And then I mint tokens with that. So for comparison, how are we doing this in the Plutus PBL course? Let's just take a quick look over there. Where is PBL? Need some updates.
So I have a feeling you already covered this. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, you're getting there, but it's always good. A lot of the time what we do in these live coding sessions is we kind of have the opportunity to tie together a bunch of different ideas, whether you've gotten there or not. And this is a good little preview for you because my goal is just to help you start building a mental model. I'm going to show you how the minting works when you, in module 100, where you mint your token, what that looks like. And the first thing I want to find in this file, where is our oh, we're not forging. How are we minting that? Minting. All right, so you can see we're minting these assets here. Here we go. Contributor Plutus minting script. Where did I pull that in from? Oh, that's just being imported. Let's go look over there. So first of all, this is a little bit different. We're using a Plutus script to mint this thing. It's actually, this is not going to show us anything. I don't know why we didn't use forge in this file. We didn't really have to. We just went straight to the mint asset command. But here we supply the minting script, what we want to mint. And because it's a Plutus minting script, we need a redeemer. And that redeemer is here. This is a really, really simple Plutus minting script. All it says is that if you know the secret number, you can mint this token. And the secret number right here is not a secret at all. It's in this open source repository for anybody to find, okay? So actually the policy ID of the tokens that you're minting in the Plutus PBL course is simply the policy ID of a Plutus script that has this number in its redeemer, which by extension means really there's nothing special about our policy ID. If somebody else tried to build the same Plutus script with the same number in it, they'd be minting tokens with the same policy ID that we're using in this course. And that's why we're happily just running this on pre-prod. I wouldn't release code like this on mainnet. And I probably want to be a better gatekeeper of the learner minting token or the contributor minting token, whatever that might represent. But this is just a really trivial implementation of a simple Plutus script. And your code will end up looking similar, right? Where mesh really shines is after you get what you need from the documentation. Now you start building your own project, right? Here's some things you're already familiar with the metadata part, for example, right here. And now you can build your own logic to build out whatever sorts of token minting you want with policy IDs that you control. I'm never sure if we're going like too deep down a rabbit hole and like where's the line between sharing helpful stuff with you and overwhelming you. So let me know how we're doing. And
No, this is good. I'm gonna have to go back through this and look at it. But yeah, this is good. Good introduction. Thank you. I didn't know a lot of this exists here.
I'm excited that you're starting. This is really great. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, I was wanting to add the game changer stuff to PBL. How do I approach that the best way?
Great question. Okay. So as you know, this course has been called Plutus PBL 2023. And 2023 is almost over. So we got to figure out what is PPBL 2024 going to look like? And I'm really excited for us here, anybody who wants to participate, to help think about what our strategy should be for taking the existing content and reusing any of it that's still relevant, updating the parts that are due for updates, moving all of that from where it currently is, right? This has always been a proof of concept, just a starting place, but we've from here, now we've built out the Andamio platform just to be a little bit more robust and customizable. And so it's to start, there's those three things, right? Migrate this content into the real Andamio instance instead of this old proof of concept, and revise it as required. And then think about, A, what other modules might we want in that course? And B, where do we start to think about just creating different courses entirely? And is it possible that Plutus PBL in the future might be a very lightweight course? It might only have some of the onboarding and BBK modules, but maybe we would save all of these topics for separate, unique courses. And all of that would combine to create a coherent but customizable learning experience for anybody who wants to jump in. Get some basics. Hey, before you can use Cardano, there's a couple things you got to know. If you don't know what a transaction is, there's no reason to get started, right? You have to know what a UTXO is to start building mental models about what a DApp is going to be. But is everybody going to dive deep into Plutus or Aiken or Plutius or Mesh? No, right? Different people are going to go different directions. Maybe those can be different courses. And depending on what we decide there, where does Game Changer fit, right? Maybe we just keep this approach and we just drop a Game Changer module in right here. That would be fine. But maybe we decide, okay, we want there to be a separate Game Changer PBL course that runs independently and that people are directed to from here, or traffic can go both directions.
Yeah. So this PPBL will not exist anymore. Is that true? Or?
We're going to sunset it. Yeah, the sun is setting on 2023 and this course.
Well, it's just it's not sunsetting because so the sunrise and the new format and the new Andamio instance and what you're asking is it's like, okay, what needs, like, what, to use the metaphor, like this season is ending, and will there be like a spin-off? Will there be like a different show that has the same characters in it, etc. That's sort of my thought. Like it's not going away; it's just changing form. It's
it's breaking up.
Yeah.
Ideally, what I would love to see is it break up into distributed parts, right?
Yeah.
That's for me, that's the goal of building systems that can decentralize. Yeah, we started with one centralized Plutus PBL course. Why? Because you have to start somewhere. And if you overthink it, you could argue that we should never start new work ever because new work is always centralized, right? Obviously, that's not the outcome. Right? But here's this course right here. It got us started. Now we've met each other and we're all inspired in our own ways to do what's next. Martin's inspired to build out educational resources for Game Changer. Excellent, right? So now how do we manage that? And this is a problem for all of us to start looking at together and to look ahead.
Yeah, because I made a proposal for Fund 11 to do a full course on Andamio.
Excellent.
Drop it in the chat, man. Was that Martin?
Yeah. I will I will have to look for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're already doing this with Mesh, right? So back in March, when we first built this course, we thought, hey, by the time we get to module 305, we're going to do an in-depth with Mesh module. You know what? We never actually finished it, and that's okay, right? Instead, what we're working on right now, thanks to a Fund 10 proposal, is building a separate Mesh PBL course. If we have a Game Changer course in parallel with that, that'd be incredible.
I put it in the chat.
Cool. And the list can go on, right? And then all of us building out different learning experiences, we can share things, right? For example, let's just take a really trivial example. In the first module of this course, you get started and you have to learn how to connect your wallet to pre-prod, right? Maybe somebody has only had a default wallet that has been on mainnet. They're comfortable with that, but they just don't know how to do that part, right? And this is an example of something. This one too, right? Getting your free test ADA for pre-prod. These two learning targets are likely to be requirements of many dev-facing courses. What I'd love to see is somebody to just write the world's best lessons for these two learning targets so that nobody has to redo it over and over again. And then we can all just refer, hey, if you've never done this before, go check out the Game Changer course over there. They'll show you how to do it, right? Or go check out this course or that course. We start sharing that content. And so even though there are all of these unique independently operating courses, we also have the ability to share learning resources across them. And now you're a learner entering the Cardano ecosystem in early 2025, right? You have these different options that you can use as your entry points and curated ways to get to where you want to be.
What is the business model like for Andamio? Does Game Changer, if I do it with the catalyst, say I get that and I have to, maybe run it myself, or I don't know.
Yes,
My own derivative reference scripts, or
100%. So the Andamio JS library that you can use to just incorporate transaction functionality into a front end, for now JavaScript based, but as we're going to talk about as soon as we shift to the main event today, we're looking at transaction building in other languages like Go. Okay. And we're going to continue to build out just open source libraries that people can use for transaction orchestration on Andamio. Okay. That's open. What's not open source are the Plutus contracts themselves yet. And if you know what you're doing, you can go and reverse engineer those and all that, right? But that's what we're building the business around, is the ability to say, okay, there's a fee for setting up your on-chain instance of Andamio and having the ability to mint learner and contributor tokens, to manage a course and to manage a treasury. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of the minimum open source model. Now, if people want help hosting their front end or even developing their front end, we are going to offer that as a service, much like, Linux distributions provide an example, right? There's open source software, but you can make a living supporting people to implement your open source software. We're looking at that too. But that's the one part. The fee, Martin, if you're taking on everything else of the development, the fee to Andamio would be for just instantiating the on-chain parts and then minting the tokens that administrators and facilitators of the course will need.
yeah, maybe I have to include that in the proposal if that is required.
Yeah, thanks.
For sure.
Cool. So that I wanted to raise that topic for a while. I'm glad it came up today, just of what's next for Plutus PBL. And I've mentioned this before. We're putting plans together. Gimbal Pool started minting blocks again a few epochs ago because we got the Cardano Foundation delegation. After we just make sure that that's not losing money, just paying, the $150 a month to pay for the server fee that Gimbal Pool and its relays are running on. The rest of those funds are going to be put into an Andamio treasury for development of Plutus PBL. It's not going to be enough for any of us to make a living on, but it's going to serve as a critical example of where we're trying to go. Okay. And so we're going to start to define the work, but also give each other the ability to make commitments to that work as we decide what we want to do and in what order.
Cool.
I like that idea of that, centralized. We've centralized. We found each other here in the Plutus PBL, and then we decentralize. Like, we split off and do our own thing, and then start the two-step, the dance of going, centralizing and decentralizing, building and dispersing, I guess. Yeah, I think that's cool. I really want to do something that has to do with setting up the local dev environment. With that in mind, like Faizan and I have been going through the Nix package manager parts again, and he's here and has had some success this last week.
That's incredible. That's such a great case study. Maybe as we start to dig into the practical details of what we do next, that could be a really good case study to have a little debate. Should that environment set up, I can imagine a small set, one or more modules are going to be about that, right? Should those be an independent course or should those be part of Plutus PBL?
Right.
I could argue either way.
Yeah, certainly. And both need the idea of sort of, pretty consistent updating, because that's one of the big issues, is that there's several moving parts in that setup. A ton of moving parts, especially right now, like just there's so much changing. And then that Nix is changing, the Plutus template, or the Plutus apps from IOG is changing, and they're all different releases, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a real problem for the teaching and learning aspect of how to get people started. And frankly, that's what, reason why I'm into it, is because that's what always stymied me. Because it seems like you had to be an insider to know, as it's like, well, actually, it doesn't really work the way the tutorial says it works. You've got to know that it's this release, or you have to update it this way. And especially using different new tools, you may not, and any one of those tools can go haywire and throw the rest of it out of whack, and then get you off the track. And then, yeah. So that's sort of my motivation. That's my inspiration.
I love this. I always think about how, the priestly class were the only ones who could read and write a couple centuries ago. Right? And that's exactly what we don't want to happen here. So that's great.
What do you suggest, James, for this Catalyst thing? Is it already ready to run self-hosting, or I don't know?
We're very, very close. Yeah, there's certainly by the time Fund 11 decisions come out, we'll be in much better shape. And our team has been working very long days to get it production ready, and we're almost there. So I'll be very excited to get that out. We have a couple of instances starting to roll out, and improvements happening every day.
Cool.
And then to Newman, you were making me think about just the maintenance part, and that's the part that is not fun, right? I could speak for myself. I have a track record of writing a lot of content without getting paid for it, because there's a certain intrinsic motivation. I feel writing new content it's very exciting. Let's get these ideas out there, right? But man, when it comes to revising it, going back months later and making sure it's up to date, that does not light me up. And it's very hard work to do without a financial incentive. So I'm very excited for us all to start having the ability to actually pay each other to do the work that's much less fun.
Yeah.
And bless you if anybody here who's very into maintenance work, but I'm not assuming that's many of us.
But if it has 3 revisions, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, free revisions. That's a unicorn. All right, we have accomplished an awful lot with virtually no funding here. And we've kept this course free, but that means that there's problems with the course, right? How do we update it? And so as funding starts to trickle in again, as you know, Catalyst is running again, the Voltaire era is approaching, maybe even just a more general positive vibe in crypto in general might help make funding a little easier to come by. But these are all, we've been building systems now for then using that and deploying it, hopefully in ways that start to feel more sustainable for all of us. Okay, but that was a little detour mix. This is what happens, you see, when you're stuck in the certification working group. We start going on other conversations without you.
I was enjoying it. Actually, I wanted to join and pushing you guys into deeper level of the rabbit hole, but I said no. Like these poor things, they are already lost, so I don't.
These poor guys are already lost. Well, hey, is if we jump into a little bit of off-chain transaction building, do you feel like that's worthwhile today?
No problem. Yeah, actually, I want to show you guys how you can build an off-chain transaction by whatever you have, Atlas, Apollo, Lucid Mesh in your backend, and how you can give that to your front end and submit it by Lucid Mesh and without any library.
Awesome. This sounds likely to take us a little bit beyond the end of this regularly scheduled session. So we can jump in. We'll do as much as we can in 40 minutes. I'm excited to stick around because all of what you're sharing is relevant to the work we're doing anyway. But if anybody has to jump off, we'll just keep live streaming and we'll have this recording for anybody who wants to catch up. And then before we start, just keep in mind what we're about to see from Mix. Think about it in the context of what I was just sharing right here. We're about to learn some concepts that might make sense to fit into a general purpose PPBL course, but some of what he shows might really be on more of that specialization track. And so I'll be excited over time to get everybody's opinions on whether what Mix is sharing today would comprise a new course or how you would see that being structured.
Okay, so without further ado, allow me to share my screen. And I will walk through you guys what we just did last week very quickly. So we try to build very simple transaction by Apollo. And Apollo is a transaction builder written by Gold, written in Golang by Eduardo, and you can find the repo here. I'm going to share the link again in chat in case you don't have it. And in this transaction, actually we should get another address. I forgot this address belongs to who. One of them belongs to James. I think this first one or second one. So yeah, we need to.
You know it.
Yeah, I think the first one belongs to you, James. Right? Like the last of the last.
I have to check. There was one of them was mine.
PJ7Q. So I don't remember who posted this address, but if you want kind of a little bit of ADA, but tested ADA, please share your link in chat. I will paste it here. I will send whatever amount you want, or if you want like through 2000. But if anyone doesn't want to, by the way, anyone doesn't want to join, but don't worry. This is just address. You don't compromise your security, privacy, anonymity. So yeah, it's just address, and this transaction is going to reduce 4,000 ADA from my wallet and send to UTXO to James' wallet and someone else's wallet if we have an address here. If not, well, I'm going to use some of my own wallet. And this is kind of very simple. We just walked through it last week. I don't want to go very deep. And Newman is headed to breakout room to look at Nix. Okay. So I should find another address. Since no one is interested to get some data. Mine pasted here. And I'm going to craft a transaction, and this sender is actually this guy, Gimbal App Wallet. And I just paste maker another testnet wallet here, and I think James' wallet as well. So we just compile this, run it, and we get the CBOR string and the fee. And we will, in the case of the production level, once you craft a transaction at your backend, let's imagine this is backend, you're going to send the CBOR string to your front end, and front end is going to handle the next step. But what would be the next step? We will talk about it now, but allow me to just compile this. So go build, and then running Apollo server. Let's see, do we get an error or something? No, great. We have the CBOR string. And also I've wrote very simple front end, which you can see it like this. So it is just very simple front end. You are going to choose the wallet, and after choosing, it will find the balance of ADA showing at this left top corner, and then prompting to sign the transaction and submit it. That's all. And the CBOR should be here. So we just, okay, I'm seeing Claudio address. So okay, sure, no problem, Claudio. Well, Zoom has some issue for copying, but anyway, I'm going to use Claudio address as a sender or receiver, second receiver. And let's assume, guys, you are going to get all these information from your front end. So you get the user is going to spend anything, mint anything, I don't know, send, receive, whatever, from the front end. And then you are going to get or provide this the destination addresses from your database or somewhere else, even from, again, front end, or you store it on datum of UTXO, and you want to query that in order to get that. So yeah, there are different ways to get this address, but once you have that, then you can start building a transaction. Once this, we have new address, but let me check that. Did I copy it right? Yeah. Let's again go for go build, running the Apollo, and I mean running the binary and copying this string, pasting it here, and then what this does, right now I'm using Lucid. So what this function does from TX is going to deserialize this CBOR, convert it to an object, a TX object, and once it is a TX object, then we can operate some function, namely sign, and compile it on it, and then submit it there. But before the submission, let me console log the TX hash as well. The transaction hash. And also allow me to see when this transaction we're going to submit. So it should be const results, and then it should be await. Wait. Then it is, I think, the front end Lucid. Await TX, yeah, and then we will provide the TX as we just TX hash we just got. this function is going to query the blockchain provider, which in our case, it is Blockfrost, and going through a loop and query it that does this transaction submitted or not, and does this transaction submitted. It's like a loop, and until it returns true, this loop goes and goes. So if you want to use this, please be careful, because there is no end for this loop, and it can consume all the resources. And let's print the result. So if we get true, it means it is submitted. And if we don't get, like, if we get false, it means that this guy, the TTL we decided for transaction, like right now it is 180 seconds, is expired. So the TTL, I should maybe remind you that TTL means the total amount of this transaction stay in mempool. So it is not on blockchain, it is not on your wallet, it is kind of in between. The time of signing the transaction, you guys need to consider this as well. So yeah, this is, and let me again go build, because I think we kind of surpassed the time. Let's get this seaboard. Sorry. Copy it, pasting it here, and let's go back to our browser. So let's click on Eternal, and I've already connected my wallet here. As you can see, it is connected. We have around 9,000, and we just got the pop-up for signing. So as you can see, we have this sign-in transaction popping up, which asks my password, and the input is 7,000 something, and output with 2,000 to this address, Claudia address, 2,000 to James address, then rest would come back to the original address. The fee is same, and as you see, this is the valid for like 1 minute and something seconds. So this time actually is not just signing, it is the mempool. So be careful about this as well. Let me give the password. But before that, let me go for the console so we can see the messages on console as well. Yep. So where is that guy? Signing. And now we should get, so this is the transaction hash, so no problem. And now this is the query of that await TX. Just keep querying the blockchain and Blockfrost, in fact, to get that of the transaction submitted or not. As you see, it's a look, but we can see it in our transaction, the history in our wallet, that's we have just built this transaction, and it is on pending. So we should a little bit wait. And as you see, this TTL, this time to leave, actually still is kicking. So if this transaction stay like pending, and this thing expire, and yeah, okay, now we got through. So now it is submitted. So wallet, yeah, now we get through from that. So now I think if James or Claudio check their wallet, they should see 2,000 ADA in their wallets. But I wonder, do you guys confirm it? Have you got that, Claudio, James, 2,000? If not, well, someone should be responsible.
I don't know which address I sent you. I have too many pre-prod wallets. I'm looking for it right now.
It ends with PJ7Q. I think there is some place to search it.
I'll find it.
Receive, if you have this multi, like this option is disabled, I think you can search. But anyway, that's the idea. So we don't have time to go into more deeper and more complex transaction building with Apollo, which we can do it, I don't know, another day. and it would be fun and interesting. But let's submit same transaction with mesh. Okay, the exactly same thing. We just will again provide this, but just because I'm poor now, I'm going to reduce this amount. Well, you know, unless you guys have some ADA to spare your fellow, you know. And I didn't thought that today I'm going to beg for some Tesla data, but anyway. So I'm going to do some like 150 ADA. Okay, this time. And for Claudio as well, 150. But if you guys want to, I mean not 150, let's go for something like 170. So it would be more different. But if you guys need to check something or add in something, sure, tell me. I'm going to add, but please tell me. Cannot check right now. Okay. Hi guys, session. Yeah, okay. Piotr is asking about the timing. I don't think the timing has changed, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And I should say that this transaction needs signing for both payment part and a staking part. And because these both are true, but we can just make this for this transaction false and comparing the transaction fees. Go build Apollo server. And we see that the transaction fee now is smaller, almost 10,000 Lovelace. So although it might be safe in many cases, but in simple cases, you don't need to do that. But let's continue your what we want to do. So we copy again the CBOR, and we are assuming we send that CBOR somehow to front end. But this time, we are going to use mesh. So let me just okay, let me comment this. Let me let this comment, copy this guy, and then I will write the for mesh code under it. So for mesh, we need just browser wallet, nothing that much different. So I've already installed mesh in this project, and now we need to actually we can maybe use even the but I think I wrote it somewhere, so we can maybe go very fast in this time. Yeah, so this is the guy. So like if you remember, we had to go through this guy, like Lucy, front end, whatever, block frost, this thing. For mesh, we don't need that. And I will come back to why we don't. I mean, we need that with some other transaction, but for this transaction, we just need to get the browser wallet. And select the wallet is a component that takes this guy, all the list of these wallets. Okay. And we bring this a little bit down. These wallets, and once I choose that, gets all the information regards to this browser wallet. And here, here I can say that this is the name. So you can find the same example in mesh documentation, and like in that documentation you can just specify it directly, like it is eternal. But here it is like that, and we get the wallet. Well, since well, we can continue with this. There's no problem. But for submission, let's do this. So const and let me. I think I wrote it here, so let me get copy pasted. Yep. So this is the guy. Well, we have it. Okay, let me know. I But here, no, this is not the one. This is for the API, but I'm copied because they're going to do the same thing. And so I'm going to choose API and wallet, and that's it. That's the whole thing for mesh. So we just provide the CBOR hex to this function sign tx, and then it will deserialize pop up that signing, and here it should be false because we are not partial signing. See that there is partial signing, although it is optional. We are not necessarily to provide it, but we can provide it or not. Like, this is fine, there's no problem, but for false maybe better. And then I'm going to I mean, it doesn't, we don't need that. And then we will submit it. And I don't know, is there any await TX, something like that in mesh or not? Maybe if there is, anyone can help me. But I'm seeing James hands. Yeah, James, what do you think?
I'm not sure about await TX. We have to check that. It is an asynchronous function though. So yeah, you've got that there. My question was regarding signing.
Yeah.
Is it possible for this Apollo CBOR string to be a partially signed transaction?
Yeah, it is. Actually,
Is it
let me
already
very
in this
quickly
case?
done that.
It is already done?
No, it is not.
Not here.
It is
Okay.
not. In this case, it is not, but it is possible. So allow me to very quickly do that, like very quickly. So the idea is now that we should have an app wallet, a wallet in our backend in order to sign this transaction. I'm going to just create a package called wallet or admin wallet. Yeah, admin wallet. And let's imagine this is a partial signing with Apollo. And then I'm going to put, like, I mean, again, admin wallet.go. And then I'm going to just copy paste the code because I don't want to go. I mean, we don't have that much time, unfortunately. And the code would be this guy. And I think we should insert this. So this package, blinklabs-io Bursa, this library or this package, is actually our backend or any wallet or app wallets in Lucid or Mesh written in Go. But let me go do this go get, so we don't get any error. And like this guy should be admin wallet. Yeah. So now the idea is we have the admin wallet, we have the mnemonic or seed phrase, and don't copy this. I trust you guys. And then we will provide some, we will do some action, and we will provide some values and some create and produce some values. And then we will put all of them into a structure, into a memory, like a place in a memory. And we have all these things inside that. And then, like any object-oriented language, although it is not in Golang, but like any object-oriented language, we will just take these values from that and use it in our main Go. So let's assume that we want to sign this transaction. And why? Maybe we are not going to pay anything from the admin wallet, but we want to kind of seal it. We want to make sure this transaction will be the one that we send, and it will be submitted as it is, like no tampering, no middleman attack, nothing. So it is not just good for paying something from your backend, but no, it is really good and using the cryptography of Cardano for just sealing the transaction. And if any tampering happened, basically this transaction cannot be submitted. So let's do that. But okay, now we have this admin wallet. And then I'm going to use this admin wallet inside our code. Well, where should I start? Well, let's go in this place. So you see inside that we need to set up the wallet. So once we set up the wallet, then we can get the wallet or wallet information regards to wallet, we can provide it. So let's call this guy, but we have to, why I'm getting error, but anyway, we have to insert this guy as well. So let's see that maybe automatically we will get it. So admin wallet dot setup. So yeah, nicely done. We got it. So we just import it. So now we have the wallet. It will initiate that wallet and it will fill all the information in this structure. And then we can just get this admin wallet. So admin, well, admin underline wallet will not just interfering with any other. And it would be admin wallet dot get wallet. So now we have the admin wallet. So we need to sign this transaction by our admin wallet. There are multiple ways to do it, but I'll go with a way which is maybe longer. And I'm going to just copy paste this code because I don't have that much time. And first I should copy this. By the way, these codes are available. I'm just, it's not like that much complex stuff to him. But the admin wallet, I just got the verification key out of it, but bytes in bytes form, and signing key out of it. And we should do some deserialization. I know it's complicated, but the state of things are not that much simple with Golang and with these libraries. So now we have the verification key and S key, and it is ready to be included in the transaction. Because first we should say that, hey, inside this transaction there must be we provide the verification key inside the transaction, and that means that the signing key must be provided at the signing stage. And if it is not there, it means a transaction is not valid. So this is the partial sign. So we will sign the transaction with our admin and then send in that same CBOR code to the front end. And let's see what would happen. And why actually I made that partial sign false. We will talk about it. So I'm going just to add this, okay, add required signer from address. Well, let's go with add required. So we see that we have several add required signer from address and bake32. Let's go with this guy because we see that khash pop solution, pop khash, all this thing. Well, do we have pop khash here actually? No. So let's go with admin pkh. And then it would be actually, I think we should get the address first. Admin get admin dot payment address, if I'm right. Then we should first create an address object out of it. But payment address, so address dot decode. Yeah, this guy. And then so what's the problem? One variable, okay, it should be, admin add addr, it should be error. And yeah, so I think this is the payment address or this is the full address. we should get payment. Yeah, this is the guy. So we get the big32 address of the address, but we can get the payment VK as well. So we don't need to do that. I just saw it now. So let's go with actually PKH and just using this guy. Sorry. Admin wallet dot like not admin wallet actually. Admin, yeah, this guy. Dot P payment VK. Yeah. And I think this is the guy, to be honest. But maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, let's not use it. Let's go for this guy. I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably there is something here, but I'm going to use this guy. But we should make the pop cache. We have some error. We should make it a pop key hash type. It should be, let me see the error again, serialization, pop key hash. Let's do it. Serialization added. So what's the problem now? It cannot convert variable key verification, key touch serialization, pop key hash. So never mind, we don't have time. So I'm just going to add the same thing from this add signer. I'm going to add admin wallet address dot payment address and dot string. So what's the problem? Sorry. The variable type is address. Okay, so from this and required from address or from big32. Let's go with big32. Admin payment address, and then there should be true and false. So okay. And okay, so now we just done that. I said no time, and then let's sign this transaction. Let's sign this with admin with that VK and that guy SK. So that the function. I mean, we should sign it like this: Apollo B, and we return to, as I remember it, that sign with SK. So sign with SK, accept VK, okay, VK, and then SK. There is SK, and this is not. Okay, and if we get error, print it out. So now we just signed that transaction by our admin wallet, and let's just okay, we get some error. I don't. Let me go with go Matiti. Matiti. See any error? Okay. Solve error. So go build, and then Apollo server. So we get the bigger CBOR, as you guys see, and if we just really quickly deserialize it, CBOR DR. We see that now we have the pop key hash of like two pop key hash. One of them is from the sender, who is the GameWall wallet, that wallet. Another is from the admin, and we just sign it. So this is the signing of transaction. So because this hash, big hash means the hash of private key combined with the hash of the whole transaction will provide this hash. If anything changed in this transaction, we get error. And we cannot just simply remove it because there is this thing. But you might say, okay, what if we will remove this and this? Yeah, in this case, it is possible. In this case, it is possible, but first of all, this is really hard. But in some cases, no. It is if your smart contract say no, it must be inside the transaction, like multi-sig transaction. It is not possible to do that because if you remove the your contract will complain. So yeah, okay, let's copy this guy and first, okay, sorry, copy this guy and try to submit it with mesh. Copy, paste in the CBOR here. And saving, and let's going back to here and eternal. Let's see, do we get an error? No, with no error. Sorry, but we got some error. Let's go for another something. Just
Oh, did you change it to partial sign true? And
yeah, that should be that. I'm getting that exactly. So this is true. I'm sorry I forgot to do that, but again, let's go back to. So now we have this guy and we have around 1 minute and something seconds in order to sign it. But same principle, like one UTXO come, two UTXO goes, I mean, three UTXO, two to the different user, one here. And let's provide the password and see that do we get an error or a transaction, anything. No, we got the transaction hash. Let's wait because we don't have something, but we can see again here that we get a pending. So we can kind of assume that everything went according to plan. So we just submit a multi-sig transaction. We get some lace, whatever. I don't know what. Anyway, so unchain. So it is submitted successfully. We just crafted a multi-transaction on our backend, signed that with Golang, send that CBOR to our front end. And by doing this, which if you guys can remember, I forgot because here is the place for partial signing. It was false, therefore we got error. Now it's true, no problem. And then submitting, that's all. So first, let me ask you guys any question. If not, I'm going to do something interesting as well. Any question? No? Okay, so
great demo. So far, so good, man.
Great. So maybe you guys know Mesh, Lucid, all these things are kind of abstract library. They are not doing something like genuinely by themselves. They are calling, using many technology, many functions, method, object, whatever underlie, which provided by different libraries like WebAssembly, like multi-platform library, or Cardinal Citation library, or anything similar to that. One thing in regards to this signing and submitting is not being handled by those libraries. Actually, it's being handled by the browser wallet itself. So we see that, for example, in case of Lucid, the submission was done. Maybe you thought that the submission was done by Block Frost. But now we didn't use Block Frost here, and we didn't provide any API here. I mean, the Block Frost or Maestro or anything. But how did we submit this 2x? So the submission happened by our wallet. So, and the wallet was connected to Eternal server, and Eternal was connected to, I don't know, some provider. So basically, it means that we are not dependent on the libraries. But what we are dependent are actually the methods of the browser wallet. So if we assume the browser wallets, any browser wallet, follow CIP30, which is a standard, inside CIP30, if we go somewhere about this APIs, I mean, these APIs, let's imagine there are a bunch of functions inside the browser wallet code. We see that sign TX, sign data, and submit as well. Get network ID, get UTXO, get collateral, amount. All of these are actually not part of Mesh, and not part of Lucid or any Typhon. They are part of the browser wallet itself. So we just submit that transaction. So basically, it means that here we can make our code maybe simpler or simplifying. Let's copy it. I mean, let me just, again, maybe for the time being, I wrote it here. So basically, API means the object we got from the wallet. But let's see that how does it look like. Let me just go to the console .log very quickly with API. Okay, so where did we got API? Well, we don't use mesh, and here actually we can use the API event get UTXO, just API, and we get some error, but yeah, we get some errors regards to that. There is a function to get the balance. This doesn't work that much with the API because the object returns differently, but never mind. We got the API from that selected wallet enable, and again, these are available in CIP30. You can see it. So the whole idea here is get the browser wallet available functions, available methods, object, which already defined here in CIP30, and we can see it here. And then we can just continue the same transaction building and submission with API. It's just substituting that wallet, which we got from Mesh, with API. And here, let's make it true because we want and it is multi-sig. So let's again craft the transaction very quickly. Go build Apollo server.
And Piotr has a hand up.
Sure, Piotr, go ahead.
Hey, I just a side note. I don't know if you guys know the LS library. They have like a block frost API built in, so we can. There's a object that when you provide an API key, you can call all the functions that are doing the UTXOs, like get UTXOs, get transaction history. So we don't have to like.
So we don't need to provide our API block for us. We can use Eternal or the block for us of the wallet, right?
But I think this is more useful on the backend when you doing some wallet interaction on the backend. I mean, you don't have to use two different libraries. You can just use one. It's very handy.
Indeed. So so let's see that API. Let's see that object Piotr was talking about. So again, let me connect this, and we can see that object here. We get some error because, as I said, this is the error of that UTXO. But we see this is the object that we got. I mean, no, sorry, not this one. These are the UTXO. Sorry, let me go past the pack. Let me just do this and not printing the UTXO also. And then going back to the browser, okay. So we see this is the object. This is the API object. These are provided by the browser wallet, and it is not depending on any libraries such as Mesh, Typhon, Lucid. And we can use them and like all these functions, we can use them and submit a transaction right now. So this is the transaction we just built without using any of those mesh and all these. And if I just sign this transaction, well, we get an error. What's the error? So unknown TX send. Well, let's see what's the problem. serialize the sine tx. What's the minus mu? What was the error? Oh, sorry. Sine is okay. We got expired. You know, guys, let me add this number a little bit more, like 5,000. Yeah, why not? Save it quickly. Produce the seaboard. Quickly bring it back. Okay, save it. And let's go back here. I think we get the API, we get the popping up. And we see the 1 hour something now. We have a time for signing. Great. Let's sign it and see what's the problem. Okay. Violation added on car promise unknown TX send submit TX. Submit TX, we just used it, and the TX is. Oh yeah, I think I got it. Because the problem is, we should have provided this. So, what's the problem?
What's the error again?
Fine, this. I think I just let's again make it. Finding this. So everything looks like fine. 3,000 units. Problem. The error said unknown TX send error on handle runtime. Same
Time? What about the time? Is that correct?
the time of
Didn't you edit also require time slot?
I did like it is. So do you think that the timing is a little bit off?
Maybe. What's the where's that last slot coming from?
Last slot was coming from block frost.
Oh, okay. Now
But I'm adding this.
1,000.
It is coming from block frost. This guy, and it
Alright.
is last block a slot. It might be 20 seconds before, 10 seconds before. And as you guys know, block producing Cardano in average 20 seconds. And so it is not determined which is. So that's actually timing is not good. But the error here about unknown TX and error. Violation added passive. Let's go look at uncut promise errors.
Helpful error message.
To be honest, I submitted a transaction before, but I don't know what's the problem now.
Yeah. Wow, it's
Think maybe it shouldn't be await. I mean,
amazing.
normally it should be await. Let's see that.
Oh, no, you don't have to. Well, that's true. No, it should be a wait.
It should be.
I don't know. Submit is submit async or just submit? Submit just happens, right?
Let me go again. We have that method in this. We can see it. Submit is async.
Okay, good.
So it has to be like we should provide that await, but let's not provide. Okay, we got another caller stack station. Okay, let's wait. So, what is the problem? API should like. I don't know, to be honest, right now why it is not working. Maybe my network has problem.
And what happens if you try it twice?
Maybe let me connect with VPN, see maybe there is a problem with VPN, although we have it just submit by wallet. But anyway, let's again run this one. The pop-up comes, no problem so far. Oh, it's empty. Violation added non-passive event listening to a scroll to chart. But you know, guys, let me just use another browser. Let me see. This my I don't know what it works here. Wait, you know, yeah, that's. Okay, now my wallet doesn't work. Okay, Eternal doesn't work now. Okay, so let's. I mean, do I have anything with lace? I mean, let's see. Do I have anything inside the lace wallet? Okay, what is the address? The address received. Like maybe copying it. I'm going to build a transaction with that now. Copy, paste here, going back, choosing lace. So, okay, confirm. I think, well, okay, I thought they don't need my password. Let's see that. Is this the password? No. What's the password for this guy? So now we got another process TX input, submit TX handler sync. It is kind of similar. I mean, did we change that? Is it still await? Yeah, it is await. So we got kind of another error. I'm not sure what's the problem. A non-background message. I think maybe there is something problem with this. I don't know. Violation added non-passive event listener to a scroll blocking chart event custom marking event handler. Possibly this doesn't have anything with React on. Eval 226. 226. And this is the function calling. I don't know, to be honest, what's the problem right now. We can submit it by just going with this. Maybe there's some problem with that. So if I just use this API instead, let's do this. And let's sign it with lace. Confirm. Still no problem. I don't know. You know, things may break, so I honestly don't know what's the problem. Maybe the browser, but the other browser will have some issues right now. I don't know why this doesn't work, but let's try for last time. I won't waste your time more than this. So we got the wallet from the Mesh browser wallet. Yeah, this is the guy. Enable browser front and Lucid. Maybe this is the problem. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me do this. Maybe Lucid stuff was interfering. Let's try it. And let's just forget about all of this. Okay, no, we don't have a problem with this guy. And then it should be API. So this mesh. Okay. And did I substitute this? Let's make sure. The mesh and Lucy are both enabled, and we are going to use the API. Maybe there is some interference, but let's see. So, okay, our wallet is connected. Terminal. Signing. Still valid. Oh, no, that was for another wallet. Signing. No, still same issue. Anyway, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry for this inconvenient issue that we face. I personally submit that.
We're used to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
you guys just get the idea at least. Just don't use API for now. I don't know what's happening. Why the API, the browser API, the wallet itself doesn't submit or providing some error or some not providing something which causes error. But we just seen that how you can build a multi-sig transaction with and sign it with Mesh and Lucid. So same multi-sig transaction can be done, by the way, with Lucid. So we don't need to do any partial signing, anything. Exactly same. So for Lucid, maybe the advantage would be maybe here we don't need to go for true or false. This guy understand that by itself. We don't need to do that. But same thing for Mesh can be done by using same thing. But we saw that the sign TX and submit TX are the function by this guy, like the API. Here you can see that sign, this is the submit. Where is it? Little bit up, I think. Like this is sign data, this sign TX. So sign TX say that okay, CBOR, if it is partial sign, go for Boolean or false. And then there is this submit TX, this guy. And it should provide that CBOR, but I don't know. Maybe this doesn't provide a CBOR. Maybe. Maybe this is not CBOR. Maybe we have to.
Oh, could it be
convert
some
this.
other type? That'd be weird.
Yeah. Like this type is, well, we are not using TypeScript, so it is any. Like everything is here is any. But let me actually just, if you guys allow me, I don't know if you guys want to leave, I'm sorry. Just allow me to do just one last thing to see what is this guy. Maybe we are not providing a CBOR because as we read in the CIP, we should provide a CBOR or which is a transaction. So let's see that maybe this is the issue. Okay, let's go back to that. Channel. Let's watch. We get the error. Okay. Okay, no, we get the CBOR. This is the sign TX. But somehow this sign TX, maybe let's go back for this. Maybe if I make this false. Hmm. We can only sign partially. Okay. So the error, at least, okay, at least we can see the error can only sign partially. So no, it should be true. But why do we see an error? I don't know this. Unknown TX and error. Yes. They don't know even what the
Same
error is.
thing. Hmm.
So yeah,
Well,
anyway, guys, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
maybe a good place to pause for now, but
Yeah.
even just proving you've gotten us a very long way today.
But I'm sorry it didn't that much work out. But maybe next time we can. Well, for now we have the mesh and Lucid, so we don't need to go uh, with like plain or raw API. But I don't know. I don't know what is the. Let me do. Maybe there is some cache storing happening. No. I won't give up.
Oh no.
Don't worry, I will figure it out. But maybe next time we can do same exact thing if Adrian is ready with Atlas, so we can see actually on front end, it doesn't matter what you're building your transaction with. Atlas, Apollo, Lucid Mesh, whatever you're on your back end, your front end. But right now, this API, raw API, doesn't understand. But we just saw that the mesh and both Lucid and mesh understand and sign, submit without any problem. And then we can go move forward with some more complex transaction building, which I recommend, or I suggest, not recommend, suggesting to start with some of the Andamio transaction building, especially the one are some troublemakers, like regards to the EX unit on all this stuff. But thank you for your time and attention, guys. And where should I put this code?
Great question. I mean, this seems like future. We were talking earlier about, branching into several different PBL courses. This seems like a really exciting addition to adapt development curriculum, right? Some of it would fit in something like a Cardano Go PBL, some of it fits directly into Plutus PBL, even Mesh PBL, showing people how to do this.
Yeah.
But
James,
no.
regards to module 306, transaction UI and queries, don't you think these might fit in that one?
100%. Yes.
We talk about transaction, but I don't know I don't remember SLTs in that module.
Yes. Well, we never really finished that module, right? That was a place to maybe get to, and it's still aspirational at the moment. But I think I can start to imagine a different approach to transaction building in the first place, right? What do we show people currently? Here's how to do it on Cardano CLI. Here's how to do it in Mesh. But we don't really take people under the hood to inspect this CBOR string right here. And so the example you're sharing, I think, might help people build a stronger mental model of what they're actually doing when they're building transactions earlier in the game.
Yeah. Which actually means that basically, guys, we are building this thing. The whole code and all this, we want to just follow a standard and build this thing. If you can build
It's
it with
still
your
just
hand,
strings of
great.
data. Look at all that. That's what could that represent right there in terms of assets? But it's just data.
Yeah, and once we have some smart contract, reference input, witnesses, witnesses like redeemer, all these data, the transaction become more interesting.
Right.
Maybe we have some of them here, but yeah, that's mental. I think this is, yeah, like this is some example of a kind of complex transaction. Like there we have reference input, and we have two
Yeah, that's
signing,
gorgeous.
we have two contract, one is spending, another is minting. And yeah, but the concept is same. We are just
And if
putting,
anybody has ever heard like the ledger spec, the Cardano ledger spec talked about, this is what the ledger spec describes, right? Just
yeah,
line by line. Here's a set of identifiers. You can see those, the indexes for each of those positions. Yeah, the CDDL, right? And then it's just that information. But to build any app, even from the ground layer up, you could just follow the spec and create functions to build out each of these pieces as you go.
we are on Conway and MPL, CDL files here.
Does this also cover Plutus or?
Mm-hmm. It covers the on-chain validation of Plutus scripts, right? But I think Plutus itself is distinct from this.
Because if I decode the CBOR, usually it's not, you get the CBOR of the Plutus, which is not decoded.
Right.
But yeah, but you are right. We have the role, but I think it would be in Plutus repo. Plutus Cardano, like how to, because we have a library called flat, and that flat means converting the CBOR Plutus core, any Plutus core, into binary, and that binary CBOR code. So even if you decode that CBOR code, you get the binary. It is bunch of OP code. It is not Plutus core. But how do you get from that binary into Plutus core? Although still we don't have a tool or something from CBOR code to the from Plutus core to the actual smart contract code. We don't have that, but we have it, and it's called flats. Maybe you want flat. Well, probably we have it for other level, but with Haskell repo, we can use like it is flat. I mean, it's called flat. But in Plutus GitHub, we have some tool to do that. I mean, that one of the author of the Plutus, I mean, some of them is doing that. But if I think Plutus cores, did they mention anything? Like you see that Plutus IR, which is interpreted between Plutus smart contract core. But let me find that flat.
Yeah, because I was working on the 42 tutorial, and we used a different number, but it turned out that the number was hard coded in the contract, but you cannot see that from the transaction. So sometimes
what number for
it's doing
for a redeemer index, for example, like this number 123 for these numbers, you mean? What number?
The redeemer was hard coded in the contract.
Yeah, they are following, but this following is again, it is on ledger. It is not on Plutus. Let me show you. Actually,
it's not in the contract.
It is ledger, and the ledger is not following for themselves. Their ledger also following CBOR standard. And again, I'm going to show you that. I mean, that was a rabbit hole I went. So It's 121. Let me just search it. 121. So this is, you see, these are the tags for not just the Redeemer, but for your datum as well. But the thing is, from index 0 till index 6, which means index 0 is 121 and index 6 means 127. It will convert and translate to this. It follows. But after the index number 7, we suddenly should go with 128.0.
Oh, nice.
And then we will move forward to 100, like 1,400. So basically it means we have almost 200 something, 250 something limitation for datum and redeemer. It is too much. But where is this coming from? Well, this comes from, like, why this number? Like, did they choose, like, they said, like, 128, I don't like the number, so let's add just some 0 to it. Well, to be honest, if you say that, I would, if I didn't know, I would say that you are right. Because
there had to be some logic somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
But it was, we've seen some craziness. But this is a link
Like
for
legacy
C4 tags.
Yeah.
So let me share this link in chat. If you want to go deep, like if you have not extra time, but if you're crazy enough like me, so we see these are tags, and Cardano Ledger is following this. Thanks God, or gods, or anywhere that they are following that. And we see that 100, let me zoom in, 121 till 127 means any. They couldn't find any place in order to put Redeemer and datum, because Redeemer and datum is a new concept.
Right.
Oh, so they had to choose this guy. And what is, so 128 and 199, it's already unassigned, but
right. But it's not a big enough range. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so if we go with 120, you see, again, this is any.
Right.
So they couldn't go with unassigned because it is a reserve. It is not, it doesn't mean you can choose it. It is just reserve. But any means feel free to add anything you like.
That's cool.
That's
all right. That's a good fact.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm weird.
Yeah. Like we just
hey guys, I have to jump off now, but Mix, can we keep going with this tomorrow, but maybe through a slightly different lens?
Sure. Why not?
If we have this example of a multi-sig transaction, it implies that, first of all, you're serving that Apollo Go code from somewhere, and those keys have to be handled somehow, right?
Yeah.
Can you maybe give us like the security expert view of how you would deploy a simple, whatever library you want to build in Go, following the strategies that you're laying out here? Could we shift our attention that direction just to start to see the whole picture?
Sure. It wouldn't be that much difficult, to be honest. It is, the idea would be, I mean, it is actually mainstream. You will store your seed phrase inside the environment variable, inside your system, and then call in that environment variable inside your code. But that's a general idea.
That's the general idea. So, I mean, it functions much like an API key.
API key, but it will talk to your system.
Yeah, it'd be fun to take that full loop, because I imagine this is something that we'd want to include. Also looking ahead to future courses, like we want to give people a full loop on this, and this will give us a chance to practice.
Sure, no problem.
Rock and roll. It's very exciting. We've been doing all sorts of wild transaction building, and to start settling towards something that might be more of a best practice or work in production. Very fun. Thanks again.
By the way, Piotr asked about this repo is public or not. Well, the code can be, I can share it, there's no problem. but I don't know. Can I share it in Gimbal app, James, or no?
Yeah, that's fine. We can keep it there for now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I will post it, and I will push this code in Gimbal app repo. But where should we post the link?
Maybe make a new Go subgroup.
Would you please, James, handle it? I mean, just this
Uh,
subgroup. I mean, because
yeah,
I
yeah.
can do it,
I'll
but
make a
in my
subgroup.
mindset, I don't want to mess around with the grouping and foldering in our GitHub. But by the way, maybe we can start our GitHub as well. You know, Andamio
Oh,
GitHub.
that would be fine too. What if
Yes.
let's do that, because we are starting to move towards just that kind of participation. Although now let's keep it on GitLab for now. We got to think a
Okay.
little bit more about how to use that GitHub.
Okay.
And that's really the Andamio stuff. I'm gonna make a new subgroup in Gimbal Labs just for Cardano Go
Okay.
and make it public. And I think you should have immediate access to it here, but let me know if it's not public.
Well, I have some new project. What should be the name of this project? I call it Lucid Apollo, like Apollo Lucid multisig.
Examples, yeah, call it, yeah, like transaction examples or something.
Okay.
Because you're using, right, we're relying on a few different libraries and it's really not just limited to Go, I guess.
TX building example.
It's just like the workbench, right? Early examples that help other people start messing around with the patterns.
Yeah. So, okay, let me just, I mean, I'm going to push this code. I don't want to waste your guys' time because I have to commit, push all this Git stuff. But I'm going to, once I'm pushed, I'm going to paste this link into the channel for PPBL. In PPBL announcement, I'm going to paste it and tag the whoever, like PPBL student, I don't know, everyone.
Yeah.
So you can get that link there.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
And Mix, I tell you the good news, we're going to collaborate with Chris from Blink Labs on a Go PBL proposal for Fund 11.
Oh, great. Well, I would love to actually join Chris. Well, Chris has a lot of things on his hands, so maybe
I asked him if he could just
them.
be the advisor, which would make you the lead teacher.
No, I don't want to be lead teacher. No.
Come on.
I want Chris comes and have an experience of teaching as well. Like I want him to suffer. Why don't you allow him?
Break up your maker blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, David, nice to meet you. And see everybody same time, same place tomorrow.
Yep. See you guys. Take care. Thank
Cheers,
you.
y'all.